What up, guys? It's your boy, Sauce. So yeah, it's been a while. I've been busy with work and stuff, but I wanted to bring you guys another self-reflection piece. And to possibly help you guys understand some things. But first things first, say it with me. That you matter. You are cherished. You are valuable. You are important. Your voice has power. All you have to do is speak. So yeah, let's talk about something I've been seeing misused lately. It's not so much of a psychological take, but more on a spiritual aspect. Some might disagree, and that's fine. Everyone's path is different. So it's about the dark night of the soul. What is this term, dark night of the soul? Well, first, let's get into where it came from. The term dark night of the soul originates from the 16th century poem and spiritual treatise by St. John of the Cross, a Spanish mystic and Catholic monk. He used it to describe a deeply painful and isolating period in a person's spiritual journey, not as punishment, but as a necessary stripping away of ego, pride, and false attachments. It's a phase where God seems distant. The soul feels abandoned, and yet it is through this spiritual dryness and inner death that the soul is purified and brought into deeper union with God. It's not about rage or revenge. It's about surrender, refinement, and spiritual awakening. People throw this phrase around like it's some edgy spiritual upgrade. But the truth is, most who say it have never really lived it. For me, the dark night came when my whole world fell apart. My family was breaking. I was breaking. I fell into this deep depression that I couldn't claw my way out of. It wasn't just sadness, it was rage. Raging at the world, at life, at everything. I felt like the world had turned against me. I'd be walking down the street, and if someone even looked at me the wrong way, I'd snap. I was picking fights with strangers. It got to the point where I thought people were following me. This was paranoia. This accompanied with anger and pain. It was like schizophrenia. But really, the reality of it was rejection. Rejection from life. Rejection from people I loved. Some people see the dark night as a form of nihilism, but that's more of a psychological take. And honestly, that depression, that pain, that wanting to give up, they aren't wrong for thinking that. Years in mental health helped, but nothing fixed it until God placed me somewhere different. Out in the middle of nowhere. No money, no friends, no noise, just a garden. Nothing but nature. And that silence is what broke the cycle. I speak on it often. In that garden, something shifted. Animals that didn't trust anyone started coming to me. Ashtray the tabby cat. Some of you know who I'm talking about. There are videos here on my channel. He ran away from everyone else. Even my little brother, who was heavy into drugs at the time. But that stray cat chose me. I didn't choose him. My brother kept saying, I don't understand why he doesn't like me. I don't get why he runs away when I show up. I always told him, this cat is an outcast. We know our own kind, and that's why he chose me. It is said there's a deeper spiritual meaning to this, but I never really looked into it. The wild chipmunks, they started coming to me. One in particular, I called her Nutcase. Wouldn't go near anyone, but she would come right up to me. Not for food, not for tricks, even though she knew I had snacks and spoiled her. Before I left, she moved her baby next to where I sat every day, knowing the baby would be safe near me. These animals sensed something in my heart, and that hit me. I spent many hours just hanging out with Nutcase. It was getting to the point she would come running up to me and climb up my leg. As the days went on, our bond grew, and she got closer and closer. Last time I saw her, she was very happy to see me, like I was a lost friend who had returned to her. Going over a year without seeing her, and she still remembered who I was. But yeah, back to what I was saying, because you know I could talk about Nutcase for hours. Being out there in solitude, alone with just the animals and my Bible. For once I wasn't fighting. I was still. I was sitting in quiet. And for the first time, I looked inward and took accountability. Not just for what was done to me, but for the way I responded and how my own words and actions were harming others and pushing others away. So I picked up the Bible, not because someone told me to, but because nothing else I tried worked. Therapy helped. Philosophy taught me some things, but it was faith that actually began to change me. It was in the quiet when I truly began to understand what Christ did on the cross. That his suffering wasn't just symbolic, it was real, it was bloody, it was for me, it was for us. He didn't just die for humanity, he died knowing every failure and wound I carried, and still chose to take it all. That realization broke me. I wasn't alone in my pain. He entered it and redeemed it. See, I had gotten caught up in a mindset, a philosophy that taught me how to analyze the world, especially the other gender. But it left me bitter. I was still holding on to resentment. I was still chained to the past. Letting go of that wasn't easy, but I had to, because if I didn't, I would have kept bleeding on people who didn't cut me. That was my dark night of the soul. No wrath and no superiority, only silence, reflection, and conviction. And through that, Christ. That's the true dark night. It's not about wrath or vengeance, it's about being undone. The stripping away of ego and pride. It's not loud, it's quiet. You stop pretending, you stop blaming, and you stop running. The dark night of the soul is not about being some lone warrior. It's where God removes everything and asks, will you still seek me in the silence? I didn't find power there. I found conviction. I found the truth about myself, and I needed saving. That's where I was reborn, not into ego or some elite status, but into humility. Christ didn't pull me out to make me better than others. He pulled me out to show me how much I needed grace. After that, I didn't want to fight people anymore. I wanted to forgive. I wanted peace. That's when I let go of the hate, of resentment, when I found real strength and surrender, not to man, not to myself, not to any external thing, but to Christ. Now, a lot of you heard me. Renounce the hate, renounce the rage, because all that does is bring chaos and destruction. I've been preaching preaching this message since I started making YouTube videos. Since I started going towards those philosophies, I was in battle with myself daily of what to choose. I ended up choosing Christ over all of it. I put the philosophy away. I turned away and turned to Christ. So, the dark night of the soul. I see people twisting this idea. We talk about wrath forged in darkness. That's not a dark night. That's just trying to justify their own bitterness. They say they emerged enlightened, but they still mock Christ and hate people. That's not healing. That's the ego on fire. But here's the word of encouragement. As many of my pieces, I try to throw encouragement in, because really, he must increase, but I must decrease. John 3:30. If you're in that place right now, feeling like you're in the dark, like life's falling apart and no one understands, you aren't alone. I've been there, and I promise, you're not being punished, you're being refined. Fight the rage, the bitterness, and the anger. Those are snares sent by the devil. You need to fight those negative voices and speak life into yourself. And what is this life? For me, it was God's words. Don't let pride keep you hard. Don't let bitterness keep you blind. God meets the brokenhearted, and he can use the silence, the pain, the collapse to rebuild you into someone new. I came out of that darkness with Christ, not some mystical title. I don't need to prove I'm chosen. I just know I'm loved. And if he can reach me in that darkness, he can reach you too. Let him do the healing, because that's the real dark night of the soul. When the old you dies and Christ makes you new. The Lord is near the brokenhearted and saves those who are crushed in spirit. Psalm 34:18. That's not just a verse, that was my life. And I'll also share with you my very first scripture, way before I even picked up the Bible and chose Christ. When my father and mother forsake me, then the Lord will take me up. Psalm 27:10. If you have been paying attention, you know exactly why that scripture came to me. Stay strong, don't give up, keep moving forward, and you're never alone. Look inwards, not outwards. Stay positive and humble, and turn to Jesus Christ getting that word.